Focus, gang. I'm gonna need everybody to focus.
Hey guys, 2 minutes on pallor mortis, and this is the first stage of death. So, pallor mortis is the paling of the body. So, about 15 minutes after someone dies is when you might first start noticing the paleness. And this happens because the blood is no longer circulating in the body. And so the blood gravitates away from the exterior of the skin and the top portion of the skin, and so the skin appears pale. This does happen in bodies of people with darker skin. The melanin does not change within the skin, but the redness does dissipate and fade away. And so with embalming, that redness is then restored. But so the pallor mortis is on that exterior top portion of the skin because that blood is pooling down towards the bottom, or whichever area is on the bottom of the person. What happens also during pallor mortis is a thin film starts going over the cornea of the eyes. Now, sometimes when people have even brown eyes, they appear to then have blue eyes. So there is a common conception that everybody gets blue eyes when they die because of this pallor mortis that sets in and covers over the eyes. This sets in usually about 2 hours after death. However, it also depends whether the eyes are open or the eyelids are shut as to how soon you can notice this on the eyes. So pallor mortis, 2 minutes, that is the first stage of death. Okay, so we're going to do 2 minutes on algor mortis, which is the second stage of death. This happens right before rigor mortis begins. And this sets in almost immediately. The body begins to cool down, and that's what this process is. Now, if someone dies in, let's say, the desert, their body is actually going to heat up to the ambient temperature. However, in most standard cases, a person's body temperature is going to lower until it reaches the ambient stage. So if someone's put into the hospital within an hour or two of death, their body is going to cool until they reach that much cooler ambient stage of the cooler that they are inside of. Now, a body loses the heat through 3 different means: convection, conduction, and radiation. It begins in the extremities of the body, so the toes, the hands, the head are all going to cool down faster than the rest, and it works its way into the core. So you see on like NCIS where they stick in the liver probe to test the temperature of the body right away when Ducky comes in. Well, more often than not, they may use a rectal thermometer to check the temperature, but you can also use a hypodermic needle in the liver or in the brain to check the temperature as well. Investigators will use this to determine time of death or an approximate time of death. So ambient temperature is critical. Conditions of where the body is, what they're wrapped in, what their setting is are all critical to figure out what the temperature of the body actually is. So this is all algor mortis, second stage of death. Bye. Hey, here's your 2-minute introduction to rigor mortis. So rigor mortis is that hardening of the body or the firming of the body. This sets in 2 to 3 hours after death. Fast forward 24 to 36 hours after death, and the rigor mortis has gone away. Now, the muscles have not just relaxed. What has happened is that decomposition has begun, and it's gone into the tissue, and so the tissues in your body are starting to decompose at that point. What creates rigor mortis? It is a protein reaction that happens within the muscle. So it has nothing to do with your bones itself. So what happens is the myosin and the actin connect in your muscles to create a contraction. As you breathe and create oxygen, it creates something called ATP, which busts those apart normally. Well, when you're not breathing, you're not creating oxygen, there's no ATP, so they remain locked. So your muscles remain in a locked position. Now, if you're in a very vigorous activity and there's a lot of oxygen going on and you die quickly, your body goes into a cadaveric spasm. And so parts of your body can lock up. We see this sometimes in hands that are locked or mouths that are locked. And so the funeral director does what's called breaking of the rigor. And this happens with anybody that has rigor in it. Sometimes it's just bending out of an arm or bending of a shoulder or moving of the legs. The more rigor we break up, or the more proteins we can break down within a muscle tissue, the more embalming fluid can go out into those tissues. So we're not actually breaking a bone. We are just moving the joints, moving the muscles to break up that protein so we can get fluids out into them. Now, rigor mortis sets in quicker when there's heat or when there's less muscle tissue, like in a child or an elderly, and it takes longer in somebody that is has more fat, or when it's colder. So post your questions below. That's 2 minutes on rigor. Bye, guys. Hey, so we got 2 minutes on livor mortis, and that's liver with an O, not an E, and this is the 4th stage of death. This comes right after rigor mortis, and this happens about 2 to 4 hours after death. So livor mortis is the settling of the blood in the body. So when the heart stops pumping, gravity takes effect and the blood starts gravitating to the lowest points. So whether a person is laying or sitting, that blood is going to pool down to the lowest parts of the body and to the lowest parts of the organs. So you'll notice a purpling or a reddening at those lowest points. Up to 12 hours, it's called non-fixed. And that means that the blood can hopefully get recirculated and out of those tissues so you don't see that staining. After 12 hours, they say it's fixed. So there may be staining of the tissue that we cannot get moving again during embalming. And so there may be darkening of those areas that blood is pulled in. This is especially noticeable if someone has died face down or on their side, and that tissue in the face is stained from the blood settling into it, and we can't get that color circulated out. So this is also called hypostasis or postmortem lividity, and you may hear postmortem lividity especially in crime shows and in movies. This is important for crime shows and movies because if a body is in one position and then moved, they can tell because that blood will have pooled in one area, and then if the body's moved, it will pool in a secondary area as well. So, livor mortis, stage 4 of death, pooling of the blood. Bye, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Live.
videos and could delete or edit anything. The footage started getting deleted once her mother arrived at the hotel looking for her. So this means the owners or the police are not covering up for an employee. Okay, so I get Rosemont this. They probably not covering up for the employee. You understand what I'm saying? The owners or the police of Rosemont probably not covering up for an employee. They are honestly believing that the employee, which is the security, and the edited videos, and the employee shows them because they just by looking at the videos, you know, if something happened and you call the cops, it's a fight, it's a disturbance at my hotel. Boom, we're gonna think logical. The cops gonna come on the scene, right? Boom. The first motherfuckers they gonna ask to speak to is who? The security. Because the security controls what? The cameras, the tapes, the footage, the security. They not gonna ask to speak to the manager for what? You at the front desk, you don't see what's going on these cameras. The security have all the access. The security. Think about that. When the cops came, they went right to the security. Let's show us the tapes. They showed them the tapes. All of it edited. They took him out. Oh yeah, she walked in there by herself. So now the cops think, oh, she was drunk, she was intoxicated, she's a black girl, she's at a party, drugs involved. She did it by herself. So now the fucking security's off. They, oh my God, we got off. That's how they thinking they got off. You understand what I'm saying? Hold on, let me break it down a little bit more.
Been at the computer watching the monitor. Now who fell asleep? Because when you seen her there, it should have sent an alert off where we got somebody down in an unrestricted area.
What time on the video was she? What did it show? What time she got in there?
Yeah, they got the time on there. I got to look back on my file. I got those in the car.
Okay.
I got to look back on there, but I commend the police department out there. They not rushing to judgment. They looking at time on everything. They showed me time on the cameras, time here. They done ordered everything, even outside technicians to come in, because when they give it out, they want to give it out by the time and the minute.
Also breaking tonight, hours of new video are released revealing more about a woman found dead in a hotel freezer. CBS 2's Audrina Begas joins us now. So you poured through this video. What is it showing us?
36 hours of video, and this was just released to us a few hours ago. This video shows Kenneka Jenkins walking into the kitchen, but we never see her entering the freezer. And tonight, that is why her family is not satisfied with the theory that she walked into the freezer on her own. Surveillance video shows Kenneka Jenkins walking with friends at the Crown Plaza Hotel early Saturday morning. We see her a few hours later by herself. At one point, she stumbles out of an elevator. Later, she repeatedly hits the wall walking down this hallway.
Not only that, it wasn't until Bree got back that they even started to look for her. Come on, y'all. Make that shit make sense to me. It don't make sense. I was expecting them to be like, yeah, you know, we called Bree because we couldn't find Kenneka. Like, girl, where you at? When you coming back? We can't find Kenneka. None of that. You know, or even Bree saying like, yeah, you know, Monifa.
There's nothing, man. And he was in the room when they first started looking for, like when they first came back in, like we said, it was like everybody they didn't hit everybody yet. They called the room and they was like, yeah, you got a group of girls in going around the hotel. They're causing a big disturbance. You need to get those girls back in the room, or we're gonna have to put them out.
What?
Like, what? You're like, dude, y'all serious?
Our friend is missing and y'all talking about the disturbance that's going on.
It's a disturbance. They making noise.
So the misconception on social media is that motherfuckers didn't go look for her. When the truth is, everybody went looking for her.
There wasn't a lot of people like 6 of us all the time. All in the end. Every motherfucker talking. There wasn't a lot of motherfuckers.
But everybody
that's how everybody got up and like once it hit, like we hit home, like everybody like
serious. Once the girls
everybody got with that serious face, like it snapped into us. It looks like we everywhere. Part of it, looking around.
You have.
Looking at the reports today and some of the redacted stuff, which tells me it was like reports that were Freedom of Information Acted or things of that nature. But the Cook County reports that I got are pretty disturbing to me. Now, one of the things that brought a lot of attention to me, or things that perked my interest, were when the family was on the Dr. Oz show. And there's some more footage of Kenneka here, walking down the hall. And during that Dr. Oz interview, Nancy Grace specifically asked why hadn't they checked her fingernails for DNA. Well, according to these reports, they did. And for whatever reason, they didn't publish that or make it public. Now, that's a concern for me. Now, here's another concern for me. Now, in reports, I can understand that the police are trying to secure a crime scene, so to speak, right? You can do that with tape. Now, it was never addressed by Roosevelt, or Cook County, for that matter, if this wooden door was there before or after the incident. And I haven't found anything online with basic searches, and that's kind of concerning to me, especially where you can see it's zip tied. But do you see this right here? That shit glows in the dark, man. This shit right there glows. And the only reason why I know that, shout out to everybody that's ever worked like a minimum wage job if you were a kid. And now look, I'm almost 40, and I can remember that knob 20 years ago. And I can remember being at Wendy's or whatever. Oh, Long John Silver's, that's what it was. Long John Silver's, like 20 years ago, and getting out the freezer by pushing that button. Here's another discrepancy I found in the video, right? Something else that was missing. Now, this is an air conditioning box, right? Now, that should clearly be shown. Now, there's a couple of things that have been missing on the ceiling. Now, Kenneka's mother said that there was a camera in front of the freezer. Now, supposedly, all of a sudden, that camera's not there. Not only is that missing, but this AC box is missing. Go back and look at the video with the cop with the body cam walking through. You don't see it. Now, for me, that's a concern. Now, in the paperwork that I got, now it's digital files. It's not like they don't FedEx me friggin' paperwork, all right? According to the paperwork, they did find DNA under Kenneka's left hand. Like, almost, not a defensive wound, but like skin. They found, now, I don't think Kenneka was a girl that was like scratching her scalp or some shit. And if that was the case, then why don't you just come out with that? Why did you hold that back? If that's in your initial report or your notes, why haven't you published that? That's a concern for me. That sounds like somebody didn't want something to know what was going on. Now, here's the thing. Now, listen. Now, there's other documents in there about who Kenneka may have been talking to outside in her personal life. And I really don't want to get into that because I don't want to disrespect that woman or her family. But I will say this. It wouldn't surprise me that if Kenneka had relations or been dealing with somebody that had something that had to deal with some kind of power in Cook County, if something didn't happen, somebody intentionally gave her something in her drink and made sure she went that way. Because why else would she go into the kitchen, right? 0.11? Yeah, okay, 0.08 is drunk. You can go to jail for that. But 0.03 over the legal limit doesn't make you walk like you're like 9 levels of fucked up. I'm sorry. That shit don't make no sense. So, in the documents, staff, and according to video before the incident, when they time-lapse the video back, this mark is not on the wall. Okay? Now, this is the mark from Roosevelt Police, right there. Bloop. Okay? And here is the mark from the footage from the hotel. Now, according to hotel staff and the report, a report filed by said police department, and this is part of the stuff that was leaked out by Anonymous, or shot my way. I'm sure I'm not the only one that got it. This wasn't there before, so that would indicate signs of a struggle at some point. Now, there's also lapses in video that the hotel hasn't released. Now, that could be the police department and or the prosecutor or the district attorney in that area saying not to release that footage, or they didn't release that footage on purpose, depending on who else is in that footage. They also didn't release the DNA report that they ran on the Starbucks cup that was found in the kitchen. Interesting why that wouldn't be released if you ran it. I don't understand that. It also came in the paperwork that I got. It doesn't name a person, and usually that's not how that works. But here's my concern. These reports, the documents supposedly come from Cook County, and they also come from the police department. Why haven't these documents, if the police department or your coroner, if they detected signs of a struggle, why wasn't that put into a report that was made public? Why, when you did the autopsy and you got, this drives me so nuts, as soon as you found a foreign substance in her bloodstream, you should have immediately gone over the entire body. I'm not an ME. I'm not a medical examiner. Yeah, under the left hand, fingernails, index and middle finger, and you didn't run that DNA? What are you doing? What did you do with the evidence that you collected? That's insane. And we're gonna go ask some questions. And I gotta know. Yo, why didn't you release these reports? I gotta put these reports in their face with the names of the people that are on them and ask, why didn't you publish this? Why didn't you talk about this? How am I getting this from an hacktivist group? Why is a hacker sending me this shit and you're not taking this, or you haven't publicly come out with this? Why is this woman's mother like asking for questions and me, you sending stuff to me? And I'm sure it's not just me though. I'm sure Anonymous sent it to other people too. So I might not be the only one doing a video on this today.
show the family the 36 hours of surveillance tape, but clearly they haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, at about 3 o'clock this afternoon, they said they had not seen that video, and they've been requesting it for about 48 hours.
All right, Audrina, thank you.
But 12 hours, they end up finding her body in a freezer in an area that was under construction.
From what I recall, Larry Rogers, when she was found dead from hypothermia inside an industrial-type refrigerator there at the bottom of a pretty high-end hotel, her pants were pulled down around her hips. Her shirt was pulled up around her bra. Her jeans were filthy, as if she had been dragged along the ground. There were abrasions to her knee area, her legs, her face. There is no way this is accidental.
Around 3:30 a.m., Kenneka enters a lower-level kitchen in the hotel. She walks out of frame, but then she's captured walking here on another camera. But we still don't see her entering the freezer. I want to...
She was trying to find her way out the freezer. She done fucking herself up. Cut her foot. Just dropping shit. She was freaking out. When you drunk, you feel it.
But isn't it a button on this?
Shit negative 20. It don't matter if it's the button. Like, if you drunk as fuck, the way that boy is in that freezer, if you drunk as fuck, you're not gonna open that up. You're not even gonna think. She was more than drunk. Like, she was off that pill. Nobody know what that pill was, but the detective, they came to my house and talked to me about that shit. All the way from the Rosemont to the
So who slipped that in her drink and why?
Girl, but then ain't nobody gonna snitch. The girl, you can see the girl that slipped, but ain't nobody on her. So what they saying is that basically she shouldn't have took the drink. You feel me? She shouldn't have took the drink. There's a sad incident that she died because accidents do happen like that. Motherfuckers get into the car.
So you seen her? Okay, what happened when she walked out the room by herself and said like she forgot her phone or something like that?
Oh, they took her phone.
They took her from
the friends. It's all the friends. I got an auntie that died like that. Friends got her drunk, burned her alive out of jealousy. She was a mom. So everybody, that's the shit that was pissing me off because that social media shit, it clogged everybody head up. They thinking, oh, this what happened. Nah, that ain't what the fuck happened. Like, they like, oh.
But how come in them videos it looked like...
She got a friend that work here. I'm the only black motherfucker.
I know for a fact that her friend didn't work here because I watched another video she said she worked at like a hospital or something like that. But how come it looked, in the security cameras, how come there was multiple red boxes and there was only her walking through? Like it was detecting another person walking. And then how come they took forever to release the videos and shit? Why wouldn't they just...
Because they didn't have enough evidence. Was nothing because when you go to the
machine on the 10th floor, it's not working.
So far as in this hotel probably being affiliated with another hotel, but the owner being affiliated with that traffic, the traffic shit, that's probably true. But
so on September the 14th at about 1:35 in the afternoon, the police went to conduct a door knock at one of the Crown Plaza Hotel employees' residence. Okay? When they got there, that employee was not there. Okay? They didn't went to this nigga house. Okay?
You know the owner?
The owner, he ain't gonna see him Jewish, which I
Alright, he's definitely selling organs and shit. Okay.
On September the 15th at 9:30 in the morning, the police went back up to the hotel and spoke with another employee number 4. They met with this employee in the supervisor's office in housekeeping. The first fucking thing that this employee told them was that he did not want to speak in front of his supervisor. So he must have thought he was. Like his supervisor was going to be in on this interview. But I found that odd that was the very first thing that he said.
You gotta rewind all the way back to see who the friends was. Shit, they thought I was with her. Hell no, I went with that girl. I went with her at all.
So you were working that night?
Oh,
She died?
At 5:30. She died like around 1 or 12. Like,
Well, every little noise in this hotel scared me. Like I feel like everything's a camera. And then you walking behind me and shit. I'm in the basement. I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna push me into a private room. It's over
What it
with.
is that's people that's coming here. The police would have been heavy on y'all. That's the police heavy around. But
I just wanted to see for myself. Like, how did she? I don't understand how she walked into a freezer.
she walked in the drunk actions because.
So even when it was cold, she didn't turn around. So she just felt the cold and was just like, oh yeah, let's lay in here.
Common sense, even I had to think about that shit when I get home. When motherfuckers be off drugs, they be sweating.
Oh, her shoe off and shit.
They be hot.
Her shoes were off. Then there was multiple lip gloss. So I thought, like,
Yeah, that too.
who
That's
put
what
her?
had me fucked up. They said, but like I said, I think it was a friend. Is anybody gonna jeopardize their job? Hell no. Everybody that work here, ain't nobody gonna.
I just feel like it's weird because like they took so long to like release videos.
Yeah, they didn't have another. What it was about, I told them.
How did they not have evidence though? Security cameras is so hard, it's so easy to bring them on there.
Think about that. We're not gonna release no video, but we gotta investigate. We gotta see what she had. We gotta
So that means she wasn't there, according to them.
According to them, she wasn't there.
Okay. So who found Kenneka in the freezer? And did they find her just by accident, or did they find her because they were looking at the videos?
Okay, well, when we was there, the Rosemont Police Department stated that they're the ones that found Kenneka. But with me looking at the news and reading in the newspapers, an employee found her. So that's a good question. I really.
Kenneka had plans to attend a hotel party for Ankila's and Irene birthday at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Rosemont. Stated they arrived at the hotel at approximately 1 o'clock on September 9, 2017. Prior to getting to the hotel, they picked up a Bluetooth speaker for the party, alcohol, large bottle of Hennessy cognac, unknown exact size, from a liquor store near the intersection of Kedzie, Franklin, later determined to be Franklin Food and Liquor, and some weed. After picking up the aforementioned items, the group headed towards the Crown Plaza Hotel. Once they arrived at the hotel, they called Irene to ask about parking. Told them to charge parking to room number 926. Kenneka was nervous about doing this because a sign for the hotel stated a lost parking ticket is a $200 fee. After contacting, Kenneka parked in the rear of the hotel and the group entered through a rear entrance. The group went upstairs to room number 926, and remembers the following people who were in the room at this time: S sister, S friend, dash later identified as, legal name believed to be, later identified as, aka Nef, short for nephew, later identified as, Mike, later identified as, Killa, later identified as, and possibly one other guy, unknown name. Shortly after getting to the room, began posting a Facebook clip video on S phone. I informed the live video has gone viral on the internet and some people are speculating it sounds like someone is saying help me in the background. Stated she does not hear anyone say help me in the video and the sound people are referring to came from the song that was playing on the Bluetooth speaker. Chief Keef, check it out, prod by Zaytoven. Played the song for me off her phone and it sounded consistent with the sound from the live video. A copy of the live video has been sent to a private lab to enhance video, audio, results still pending. I informed some people are also speculating that audio from the live video suggests Kenneka was sold for $200. Stated Kenneka was talking about how she didn't want to pay $200 for parking at the hotel if it didn't work out charging parking to the room. Stated no sexual activity was occurring inside the hotel room during the party. Note, photographs of the parking sign were taken and attached to this report. The sign states lost ticket pays $200. Also stated Kenneka was sad because her boyfriend recently went to jail. At one point during the live video, told Kenneka to relax and have fun. Kenneka responded by saying that she was having fun. Stated the live video was taken at the beginning of the hotel party, before most of the people showed up. Stated Kenneka was not in any harm or danger during the live video. Stated the people who were in the room during the live video were friends of Kenneka. After the live video, stated the following people showed up at the hotel party: PZ, first name unknown last name, Facebook name John Doe, later identified as, and 4 or 5 females with who showed up with, later identified as, and stated she left the party at approximately 2:15 or 2:30 with, stated needed a GPS to go pick up her friends and she did not have a GPS on her phone. Left with so could use GPS. Picked up her friends with, and brought back to the hotel, and her friends did not stay at the hotel. Stated she sent 2 text messages to Kenneka on her way back to the hotel at approximately 3:03. One message stated, "I'm 10 minutes away," and one message stated, "and the smack's there." Kenneka did not respond to the text messages. Stated she returned to the hotel at approximately 3:10. Upon returning to the room, stated there were about 20 more people who showed up to the party, including Kenneka's cousin Winky, later identified as Wayne, Smacks, legal name believed to be Cocky, legal name believed, and S. Uncle, legal name believed to be. Stated she noticed Kenneka was gone when she got back to the room. Saw Ann in the room and asked them about Kenneka. At this time, Ann informed that Kenneka was missing, and stated they walked out of the hotel room with Kenneka and realized they did not have Kenneka's cell phone or keys. They went back inside the room to retrieve Kenneka's belongings, and realized Kenneka did not follow them back inside the room as they were searching for her phone and keys. Stated they began searching for Kenneka at approximately 3:30 on September 9, 2017. Stated she was walking around with, and as they were searching for Kenneka. Stated PZ and the females with who showed up with also helped look for Kenneka. Stated they walked up and down stairwells, her bathroom.
I just want to say, if you knock an hour off, this could be at 3 o'clock. 6th floor, coming from a room. Got caught by Friend's cave. Everybody left the room. And then Kenneka had to go to the kitchen. Now they got her on the elevators at 3. Finna get off on the elevators at 3:25. Think about the footage and how they switched it up. Then you got your time of death when you look at this point of view, like the coroner would do to complete the time of death. This what you got to see to complete the time of death. If you want to know has he died, if the coroner got a time of death, what do this look like?
Rooms, and throughout the hotel for Kenneka. Called
That's why you see them at 3 heading towards the kitchen, cause they know where she finna end up at.
Kenneka's mother, at approximately 4 o'clock on September 9, 2017 and asked if Kenneka was at home. Said no and told her Kenneka was not missing. Stated they continued searching until approximately 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. They called back and informed her Kenneka was missing and they could not find her. Then drove S vehicle back to S residence, the same vehicle Kenneka drove to the hotel. Stated she was unsure how much Kenneka drank because she left the party with, and Kenneka.
And I'm gonna start this video right here when it comes to switching up the footage. If this show, this was going on at 3:22, right? Let's look at the front desk and see what it shows. Keep this in mind about the video, what we posted on at 3 something. If Kenneka was seen on the elevators at 2 something, guaranteed, with Bree Bree leaving out in the lobby, meaning she had to get out from the elevator, they explain why he running at this time, and they explain why they tried to show her getting out from the elevators in the beginning at 2 something. At 2 something. So we go in the beginning at 2 something. She gets out from the elevator. Franz K just missed her. He just missed her about 10 minutes later. See what I'm saying, gang?
You ain't never seen a watch, so nigga, you so wonderful. Y'all finna get put out. Y'all finna get put out. Y'all get put out. What's up, bro? Nothing like my daughter's son. Something nigga son. Poppin' pussy. You see me? Don't be so loud. Yeah, it's too late for that. Yep, they were the manager. My car keys, my weed. I ain't no motherfucking manager. Oh, it is a manager. It is a manager. Chief. On BD, all on.
Time is crucial at this point. Do y'all see the timeline now? If Kenneka was missing in the hallway at 2 something and he couldn't find and security couldn't find her on the elevators, so that means she was on the floors till they got caught by Franz K. Now they got to come down her. And this the report said about 3 something. This about 3. Right? Watch this. Remember, they said Bree had the key, but that's not true because the keys and the phone was in the room. That's why they went to go retrieve her phone and her keys from the room because they thought Kanye was gonna walk out the room alive, but something happened in the room and they had to get the keys and the phone and call Bree to stop doing what she doing and come back and help them with the body. And again, this said three something, and this what the report need to find out what actually happened to her. That's why Zach said everybody you see on the footage is a suspect, and that's why they all coming out the way they doing. If you watch the timeline on this footage, I want you to see the front desk respond at the same time she walked down her. If she down her, look at the front desk respond when they show up. If you know the layout, you know where this part that will lead you to when you understand the underground. This the other kitchen. They ain't want to show y'all. You see what I'm saying? Let's see how many people gonna pay attention to the footage. And when I give my comments and ask questions, I'ma see who all been paying attention. Cause remember, time is crucial, and the female been murdered that night at a hotel with the cover up for the police. And we gotta take it more serious, gang. Let's focus. And remember the elevators, and remember the stairwell. If you saying there's no way impossible that she walk up them stairs, if you look at the layout from above, this lower level, you know that's not the same area. So this what they showing you, saying she walked this way. But if you make a sharp right where this elevator is, cause look, this elevator is a double door. You see right here, and they ain't gonna show you on the other side of these elevators. Did you see security nod his head going downstairs where Kenneka was? If she was last seen in the lower level kitchen, security get the nod to go downstairs. And then you want to know how they moved the body and why she end up in the parking lot to the pool. And you got chlorine and chemicals in there that can affect DNA evidence, and to leave her in there for a certain amount of time to get rid of evidence. So that means the footage she walked in the kitchen, you could eliminate this footage. Cause we want the real video that with the camera show above the freezer. Not this one though. Not this one though. This is more green screen, CGI, some kind of cool software to edit this part. And when you seen them in the back office talking about the body and how the way they moved it, this
You got like a
the
season
evidence
cabinet?
from the coffee cup and all of this. And there go your main suspects that helped move, walking out the kitchen with gloves on, communicating with security at the front desk, and he was also last to be seen on the camera in the lower level where Kenneka was last seen. And check this out. Them the same freezer keys I showed y'all that he snuck off to Monique and them. And that's who brought the freezer keys back. And that's who brought the freezer keys back. If you didn't pay attention to the footage, you're gonna have a lot of questions. But if you've been paying attention, like how the way I have, you will see why he showed up around this time and Bree had to call the mother and say, we can't find her. And this when the lawyer said they had proof that somebody locked Kenneka in the freezer 2 hours after when she was reported missing. And look who got the keys in their hand. So if you've been watching this live and follow them freezer keys, you got the time of death and you know Who locked the jack? Payal. This not a game. This ain't the time to be slipping and you see that? Let me do it again so it can sink in. Just imagine when they show Kenneka walking in the freezer. Just imagine if this camera catch him walking out the kitchen where she was at. I want to know where that footage is when he came from that area. Because you got to come in this way, like Andrew Holmes said. Since he dropped the freezer keys out back at the front desk, let's see when he first picked the keys from the front desk, right, to give him when he first got the keys and how he ended up with it. Watch this. Now tell me that I didn't watch them freezer keys. You see what I'm saying? Now tell me I didn't look at the keys. It's the same keys. This when Monique and them went to the pool area. Remember, you're gonna need the keys to take the body to where you finna take it to. And you know who got to end up with the keys and the employee. But they never thought about they were gonna be caught on the camera seeing giving the keys back to front desk. Hi y'all. That's why I told y'all. I was reading the chat That's why I ain't say too much, because I got a lot of going on this other end, but I was paying attention to the footage. If you can't comprehend this live, what you just actually witnessed and saw, I tell you what, we gonna put the power in your hands. Everybody that's watching, I'm finna see how you gonna make some noise about these freezer keys with the time on there. These the only keys that can access to where she was found at, and you got solid proof right there. Until then, gang, when the lawyer said they had proof, they locked. Look, watch this.
Kenneka was not who were involved in the tragic death of Kenneka Jenkins on September the 9th, 2017. The facts and circumstances regarding Kenneka's death are not entirely clear. That's primarily because there have been no adequate answers given for why or how Kenneka was not identified or found wandering in the Crown Plaza Hotel on the early morning hours of September 9th. Why and how, although video surveillance cameras clearly indicate that Kenneka was wandering into an area under construction that had a operating walk-in freezer and cooler, and why and how, in spite of the fact that Kenneka's family and friends were at the hotel from the moment she disappeared until the moment her body was found, of the fact that Kenneka's family and friends were at the hotel, from the moment she disappeared until the moment her body was found, of the fact that Kenneka's family and friends were at the hotel from the moment she disappeared until the moment her body was found, almost a full day later, more than a full.
I want to know why the lawyer said family and friends at that job. See what I'm saying? Watch this, y'all. Listen closely about the freezer keys.
Full day later, why this tragedy unfolded. Kenneka, as you know, came to the hotel as a guest in the early morning hours of September the 9th. She apparently was intoxicated and wandered from the room and wandered throughout the hotel. Video surveillance at the hotel clearly shows Kenneka wandering throughout the hotel at approximately 3:30, and I'm not being exact. Video
3:30 when she was last seen going. You see what I'm saying, y'all? Check this out. 3:30. Look what happened an hour later. An hour later, you got to think about it. Crime being committed, they got to move the body. So they moved her in the freezer. You know what I'm saying? At 3:31, right? But actually, when you think about the cover up, it's still gonna have to take an hour to move the body all around to where you're trying to get it to. So that's why they watch the footage. But we just watch, and these people went to law school for this. These people got detective analyst video. That's why they got video that we ain't seen yet. So the video that we ain't got, that's what they watch. And watch what he finna say after this.
surveillance shows her entering a kitchen area that's under construction. That's the Murray Brothers Caddyshack restaurant that's now been open since that time.
This where she was last seen by her friends and the employee. Gave a statement about her route. And this what the camera would have showed.
That kitchen, the door was unsecured. The walk-in freezer and refrigerator were obviously unlocked. And at some point, Kenneka walked into the freezer. The door closed behind her, and over a period of hours, she froze to death. What's very concerning is that we have evidence. What's very concerning is that we have evidence of death. What's very concerning is that we have evidence that at some point, because she was clearly on video surveillance, at some point that somebody secured the doors to the kitchen area and to the freezer compartment where she died. These freezer, at some point that somebody secured the doors to the kitchen area and to the freezer compartment where she died.
And there you go. Right there. I had to follow the freezer keys. You see what I'm saying? The main footage they deleted, this footage caught it. The footage they didn't want to show us, but this footage caught. Can you dig it, Jack? Red-handed. You only got to use your common sense in watching everything these people do. If you got keys, somebody got to sign out for them. It gonna be some kind of video that gonna show you handing people keys. Look, that's the same key. Look, you see that? Boom. Now let's go to her. Now, I bet you don't want to watch the time now. Watch the timeline now. And this what the lawyer said they got proof in. That's why he was in the rush. And look where the video started from. 3:32. I bet you when they show you the key, it's a perfect match. When he grab it, and if it's the same key, thumb me up and share the video, and I'll come back with my commentary. You can't tell me I didn't do my research and study every movement on this John, and we got him. Pow! Now I'm finna get on King Rob and the party goers and all the cover up. I told you I was gonna sign up for this shit, and I'm still waiting on the U.S. Marshal to get back to me and see if they got any openings. Cause I'm finna solve all this shit, Jack. You see what I'm saying about? Look, this is it. This is it. This why the lawyer said this.
Was not identified or found wandering in the Crown Plaza Hotel on the early morning hours of September 9th. Why and how, although video surveillance cameras clearly indicate that Kenneka was wandering into an area under construction that had a operating walk-in freezer and cooler, and why and how, in spite of the fact that Kenneka's family and friends were at the hotel from the moment she disappeared until the moment her body was found, almost a full day later, more than a full day later, why this tragedy unfolded. Kenneka, as you know, came to the hotel as a guest in the early morning hours of September the 9th. She apparently was intoxicated and wandered from the room and wandered throughout the hotel. Video surveillance at the hotel clearly shows Kenneka wandering throughout the hotel at approximately 3:30, and I'm throughout the hotel at approximately 3:30, and I'm not being exact. Video surveillance shows her entering a kitchen area that's under construction. That's the Murray Brothers Caddy Shack restaurant that's now been open since that time. That kitchen, the door was unsecured. The walk-in freezer and refrigerator were obviously unlocked. And at some point, Kenneka walked into the freezer. The door closed behind her, and over a period of hours, she froze to death. What's very concerning is that she froze to death. What's very concerning is that we have evidence. What's very concerning is that we have evidence. What's very concerning is that we have evidence that at some point, because she was clearly on video surveillance, at some point that somebody secured the doors to the kitchen area and to the freezer compartment where she died.
Now you got proof to the front desk camera who locked the doors, but we need that footage of that camera where they showed Kenneka it after the fact when she was put in there. That's why he said was very concerning that we got evidence that she was put. Now look, them the other video that she shown that they showing in court but ain't released it to the public. Cause what if it show everybody at the crime scene? Just a thought. But yeah, if you go back to my live, to the beginning of this live, you will understand the whole Kenneka Jenkins case, and you know, and the tea is about to really get hot, cause the freezer keys identified another suspect. So yeah, Trey ain't on point. I want to appreciate everybody's love and support for coming out, showing, you know what I'm talking about, encouraging. But remember this, Kenneka died that night, And let's treat it like that. And let's go hard on those sucker for justice, Jay. Trey Gang love y'all, man. And I'm out.